Or, or a fork like that doesn't justify anybody getting shot.
So you're for having armed police officers?
Yeah, if someone else has a gun, if someone else.
I believe that y'all should be armed because I believe in the Constitution. I don't believe in the policing that the police force has done throughout many communities I've been in, but I do believe in.
Bro, like, how are you an ex-con and you're like, I believe in the Constitution? Like, the Constitution and the system that it is supposed to prop up has, like, failed you dramatically. I don't understand, but hey, it is what it is, I guess.
People buy into it, and then they...
Yeah, she's still an American after all. You know what I mean? Okay, listen.
Rights versus laws, and I do believe that there are dangerous scenes that you go to where it is required to use them. So I have to agree that part of your, like he said, his tool belt needs to include a pistol.
So you mean to tell me that what happened at Michigan State University with an active shooter killing...
I like that, cops are... The implication that cops are only necessary during active shooters kind of invalidates, like, the need for cops. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, you're right. In an active shooter situation, you do need someone who is armed to provide some level of defense. Except, this is post-Uvalde, so that's a little bit different, even though cops have behaved in the appropriate manner in numerous other mass shootings that have happened since Uvalde, because fucking holy shit, enough mass shootings happened that, you got enough mass shootings happen that, like, clearly there will be some where the cops are actually behaving in the way that they're supposed to, which is like, that is the one instance I say where, that violence is justified. It is defensive.
Okay. Oh, sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, yeah. It's like if you're killing children at a school, I think that, like, someone with a gun...
pretty bad, I guess.
Yeah, if can you throw that out? If someone is stopping the further killing of children from happening, like, that's valid. That's justifiable. Most other circumstances, which is the overwhelming majority of circumstances where cops are behaving in a violent manner, whether it be like the tip of the iceberg, which is what you see, which is like, brutal moments of like unarmed citizens being executed, being shot from behind, or even the overwhelming majority of interactions that cops have that are actually violent, because ultimately even like arresting someone is a violent act, and oftentimes it is completely unjustifiable. In those circumstances, that violence is not a necessity, because if that was a necessity, you wouldn't go to the fucking Michigan State shooting as a fucking example. You would go to any number of those other situations. You'd be like, well, yeah, what are you going to do if you see someone loitering like a homeless person and then you need someone to come in and beat the shit out of them? You know what I mean?
5 students, or Ubaldi, where they went into an elementary school and killed children.
Wait, he is not using Uvalde. Oh, what a fucking idiot.
Let's see if they get him, though. Let's see if they hit him on it.
Sandy Hook would happen over 10 years ago.
Right over it.
You're sitting there telling us that we shouldn't be carrying firearms?
Yeah, you shouldn't. Like, if you guys are just traffic cops and stuff like that, you guys shouldn't.
No,
if you guys are like a SWAT team.
Yeah, you're not answering my question.
Like I said, I'm just going based on what you said. You called me a predator. I'm like, I never done that in my life, right? I've been in situations where I've been shot at. I had 2 members of my department die in the last 2 months. I've been in situations where I've needed my firearm.
I'm willing to bet. What do you think they died from?
Like a COVID?
Statistically speaking, it probably is COVID. Or the other killer, heart disease. Or the other killer, vehicular fatalities, as they're fucking riding through a goddamn red light with their lights on, thinking that everyone is going to be ready for that moment.
Needed every tool in my belt in my career. You would go out and then see half of the stuff I see, you may change your perception about what you see.
You're saying that we should have pepper spray, tasers to Michigan State University or Uvalde? Is that what you're saying? So you telling me that if I'm a cop, I have no gun?
Bro, he keeps saying Uvalde. Dog, Uvalde's the worst example. Someone take this bald fuck down, please. Oh my God. Oh, I have another theory that I should clue you in on. We're not racists in this community. Obviously, phrenology is the skull science that was advocated for by racists. I don't know if you're familiar with this. The idea that like different skull measurements indicate like, inherent genetic inferiorities or superiorities. Now,
yeah. Is that why you have all those skulls out here?
I do, but hold on, I'm gonna get to it.
Okay.
With one exception, I like to call this cop phrenology.
Oh, okay.
I am a firm believer that if you are thumb-like, if you look like a thumb, the more thumb-like you are, the more ACAB you are. ACAB in this community does not always stand for all cops are bastards. It stands for assigned cop at birth.
Oh, okay.
So what I firmly believe and genuinely believe is that You are assigned. You're assigned cop at birth. What I'm trying to say is, this man, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, this guy is a thumb.
Cop.
But also, this,
And I'll,
Well, he said
if I may.
to the community, like maybe
No, that's not what he said.
Maybe
The prompt is, should cops be unarmed? Hold on a second. You just got done watching probably the most tragic incidents probably historically. Ubaldi, may I add. That's kids.
Wait,
for crying out loud.
they added
and
the
what you're sitting here
context of that they
saying
waited
is that
outside
we
for
shouldn't be
over
an
an hour.
What would you like me to do if someone has an AK-47 killing kids? That's my question to you.
We actually have our own rights, you know, that we actually have our own rights to carry and defend ourselves in certain situations like that.
You know,
but
with
the
all
full
due
story-
respect, that's not the question I'm
But
asking.
if you want to use your
No,
body,
I'm asking you if you were okay. I'll ask in a different way. If you're a police officer and you have no firearms, you got your pepper spray, you have your taser, you have your baton, and you are responding to Ubaldi Elementary School where there's an active shooter with an AK-47, what are you going to do?
I would
outside
say
the
that I would
classroom
call
for over an
backup
hour.
to the proper authorities that would be entitled to have those weapons that are not in the general community.
I get what you're saying.
No, but what entitled to have weapons? Who? What agency?
So like
SWAT
the
and
UK,
above, you
yeah,
know,
what he's
there's
saying.
certain people with
It's like
certain
United Kingdom,
accessories,
how
you know?
United Kingdom, their special force in their police department have weapons, but their regular.
So why should you just be? Why should you have the ability to just tote around a gun?
yes, you-
That's my question to you.
What's that?
My question to you is, just because you're a cop, why should you have the right to tote a gun around just because you have a badge?
No. That's not what the prompt is. The prompt is cops being
question.
unarmed. Cops
Yeah.
being all of
Yeah, but
us.
you use your
Whether
body,
you're
and your
patrol-
body, they took it like over an hour to
If you let me-
respond when
allow me
they
to
were
finish. He
there. So
asked
you
me
had
a
the
question.
guns and you still didn't.
What I'm
shoot.
saying
majority
is
of
that
cops wouldn't have
he's
done
saying
that, but-
cops. Cops is a very. When you say cops to me, you're talking everybody.
Police violence is blown out of proportion.
Where the
When we
fuck
see
were
the videos of a police officer handling a child and that cop has become violent towards a child,
And I agree, but my thing is, has it been blown out of proportion? I see that
Hey,
one incident.
see it a lot.
children
You do
deserve
see it a
Gotta
lot,
hit 'em.
but you have to also take in consideration that there's over 1,800 agencies in the entire United States. So if you look at the big grand scheme of things as it relates to all these agencies, and you do see violence, you do see where it's scrutinized, where it's brutal. But if you take the numbers, it's very, very minimal.
If you look at all the public contacts with all agencies nationwide compared to these bad incidents or the perception of bad incidents, it's a very micro compared to the macro of how many public contacts all the agencies have
Well,
with
I mean,
the public.
those are the ones that you do see. I mean,
And
even before
and it was
social
brought up earlier about the
even
media
before all that.
blowing it up, and we agree to that.
There was, Rodney King, there was Emmett Till, there was all
Well,
these
and
people,
honestly, there's bad officers. Yeah, and good officers will be the first ones to tell you there are bad officers. There's bad there's bad in every work.
Pause it. You can press the space bar. Good officers are not the. Good officers are not the first that they're bad officers. What the fuck? No. It's an entire culture of denying accountability. And if anything, the good officers, the supposed mythical good officers, are literally the bad officers, or the fired officers, technically. Okay? They're no longer officers. This bullshit.
You're behind bars right now saying this.
Yeah, I'm locked up. Stop.
Oh, is this Nicole's Instagram?
Oh my God, her name is Blue Line Barbie. Hello. I am constantly under fire.
She not a natural redhead?
Yeah, it's
Stolen
fucked
valor.
Up. It's fucked up. That pisses you off, don't it?
It really does.
Listen, the real oppression is that I cannot put a bulletproof vest over my gigantic knockers. I'm sorry. I can be your devil or your angel. Just saying, Blue Lives Matter.
They're like,
Fuck!
wait.
We lost
Get
them.
Get out.
Committing a crime is never justified.
Oh, come on. They all agree.
Agree with the prompt?
No.
Everything is a crime now.
Can the disagree step forward?
that prompt, it's a very open-ended question. I shared a part of my story earlier about the person, the officer, who was there.
It's like the right side of the table, I totally get. The left side of the table, I'm like, ooh, what do they mean by committing a crime is never, like...
Just the crimes they commit on a
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're like, yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta do a crime, you know? What do you mean?
I mean, planting
there to
evidence
protect
is
her.
technically a crime.
Yeah.
And he committed a crime against me. Was he justified? Because he's a police officer, a detective. I forgave him. And so that's why I couldn't step forward, because I had to pause for a second. I have to take a neutral stance here because that's not our reality.
I was 14 years old and I was deciding to not go to school, and my stepdad came up and